Hello everyone, welcome to this month's training day. Today's presentation is going to be about boosting our workplace efficiency. As you all know, I am your shop chief and today's instructor, Sergeant Daniel. Now you might be asking, what is one way in which we can boost our workplace efficiency? One area, of course, that is important for us to focus on in doing so is our ETICS. Now remember, our ETICS is the time it takes for us to complete maintenance. ETICS is important for us as it is for flying hours for pilots and the aircrew in general. ETICS is what we use basically to estimate our time for completion. This helps aircrews then to estimate when they will be able to get their jet back up and flying. Remember, flying hours are important. They give aircrew the practice they need to prepare, because we are at war, of course. And that's why it is important for us to maintain these ETICS and not prolong them. Now, there are ways in which time does get prolonged. There are a lot of causes, as you can see. Examples: poor housekeeping is one of them. Whether it's due to sloppiness or just disorganization, basically you get something done, you have some trash, you just set it down rather than taking the extra time to clean it up. That can be one thing that adds to the time. Another one that's going to add to your time, as you can see here, is just forgetting your necessary tools. Think about it. If you forget a tool when you're all the way out there on the flight line, then you're going to have to stop your work, pack up your stuff, come back to the shop, get that necessary tool that you will need, then go all the way back out to the flight line and get back to the job. That is time wasted, in a sense, just because you forgot a tool. Now, another thing that can add to our time, as you see, is just the AMUs. The crew chiefs, their drivers, their supervisors, basically. They're coming out there, they're checking on you and constantly asking you, how long are you taking to complete this job? We understand that they are concerned about how long it is taking a job, but that does not mean that they need to be wasting our time by coming out there and pestering us about it, so to speak. Now, another thing that can be an issue here is skipping your necessary steps for your TOs. Remember, our TOs are important for our job. They're important because they are the manuals that give us step-by-step instructions on how to do our job. They are important and they are necessary for every single job that we do. Skipping steps can be dangerous and can be risky for a number of reasons. Now, if you notice all of these common causes, they all have one particular thing in common with each other, and that is human error. Now think about it, with human error, these causes, because it's human error, they're totally preventable. We can take the necessary steps that it takes to prevent these errors, make our ETICS, not even just by meeting them, but actually crushing them, making them even shorter, making us, basically, much more efficient at our job. That is what we must accomplish. Now, there are several ways in which we can do this. For example, I mentioned that there was poor housekeeping, sloppiness, disorganization when it came to being out there. Well, to combat that, simply organization and cleanliness can do the trick. Take the extra time to get all that trash gathered up, put it in your necessary FOD bags. Remember, FOD bags are handy bags where you can put your trash in. That way later when you come back, all you gotta do is empty that bag out into a trash can. That is easily time conserved. Organization. Be organized with your tools. Don't just take out all your tools out of the toolbox and set them on the ground. Have them organized in such a way that each step you go to, you have that tool at the ready, or you know where it's at in the toolbox. Now, another step to take to combat these long times is checking your TOs before you even go out to a job. Remember, I mentioned TOs are an important part of the job, and there's a reason for that. They're there to give you step-by-step instructions. So if you read those step-by-step instructions prior to going out to your job, then you will know which tools you need. Now, most tools can be found inside your toolboxes, that's granted. However, sometimes there's a special tool needed to do a job, such as a torque wrench to get a bolt to a specific tightness. Or perhaps you need a special kind of safety wire that isn't commonly in a toolbox. Now, because of this, it's best if you read your TO prior to going out to the job, because then you will have all the tools you need. Not only that, but as an added bonus, you'll know what you are doing from start to finish. And that way, before you even go out there, if you have any questions at all, you can come ask me, or you can come ask one of your NCO supervisors about it. That way, there is no confusion whatsoever when you are going out on your job. You are the specialist. Remember that. You are the one that knows your job better than anyone else out there. You have to have that confidence. And the first step to that is just knowing what you're doing. And the best way to do that is by checking that TO prior to going out there. Now, remember, we had also mentioned AMU drivers coming around, pestering you, asking you, hey, how long is it taking? You know, they may try to rush you, but don't worry. Keep your head cool. Simply just give them the answer for the e-tick every time. Keep it short. Don't take the extra time to explain, why is it taking extra time, because then you yourself are adding that extra time. Simply keep your answers short. Just tell them, I already told you it's taking about this long, so this is how long it's going to take. If they keep coming and bothering you, eventually they'll figure out, they're adding time to it, regardless, because they're coming out and pestering you. So no worries. Just take your time. Give them the same answer over and over again. Regardless of whether or not they like it, that's the fact of the e-tick. That is the time that you are given to get your job done, and that is the time that they are being given for you to do it. And the very last step, again that I mentioned, do everything by the book. Do every step as it says. Use every correct tool, use every correct method. Do it all by the book. You will not be at fault if you did everything by the book. Your NCOs, and I especially, will have your backs if you do everything by the book. If you followed your TO from start to finish, there's nothing that will go wrong. At least on the side of human error. That much I can guarantee you. Now, positive thing about doing all these things. When you do all of these things, you minimize that human error. And by doing so, you actually can minimize your e-tick. And that means a job well done. That means everybody's happy because your e-tick was shortened. It wasn't just met, but you could potentially even shorten it. By doing so, you are able to come back to the shop, get everything put away, and you can have that extra time to do something like better yourself at the job by reading about our job, maybe asking questions with the NCOs. You could even take time for yourself to better yourself. Like if you're in school, do some schoolwork. Either way, as long as your job was done from start to finish correctly, by the book, and in perfect time, then you can come back and kick back. That's the positive incentive to doing a job well done. So remember, e-ticks are an important and key part of boosting our workplace efficiency. It is difficult sometimes to bust out our e-ticks. And I understand sometimes things don't go quite right. Maybe there's a bolt that gets stuck, or maybe there's wiring that's not quite right. And so granted, at times things can take longer just because it doesn't quite go the way the TO says it's supposed to. And that is okay. But if we minimize our human error, we are doing a job well done irregardless. That in itself should help with minimizing the e-tick, or at least making it so that we meet it. That way we can avoid longer e-ticks. So that is the focus of our training for today. We are going to practice on minimizing our e-ticks, if not at the very least meeting them in good time. So thank you all for coming to this presentation today. Remember, I am Sergeant Daniel, of course, as always, your shop chief. And if you have any questions, you can come and ask them for me. Thank you.